Hello, my beautiful viewers. How are you feeling today? I'm full of hearts and so much blessings because I've got an amazing guest today. I cannot wait. So I wanted to give you a title for today and also give you my quote for today. Courage is a decision. How many times during your day do you make a decision to do something brave? Do you acknowledge when you have done something brave and you step into it and you have done it? Oh, I'm so excited for today's show. So let me tell you what is the quote for today. Courage is not an absence of fear. It's the moment you decide your purpose matters more. So how incredible. So our beautiful guest is going to talk about courage and the decisions you are making. And I've got amazing questions to ask as well. So first of all, I would like to say thank you to all the Slim Soul members for supporting the show, the Power Hour. And we do have a golden sponsor currently. And her name is Nina Maglic, and she's got an amazing event in March this coming year. And I will also be speaking there. I'm going to talk about soul-led leadership, the Diamond Way. So my beautiful ones, please look at this QR code, but also when you go down below in the show notes, you will be able to see all her details, but not only her details, you will also see my special guests for today's details. And you're able to connect with them and then feel the inspiration, even if you do book a coffee chat with them. So here we go with Nina's commercial.
Quiet moment that you knew you were meant to do more than just watch the world suffer. You look at what's happening around you and think there must be a better way to lead this world. And there is. A big shift is happening in how we heal, lead, and support the world. We are moving into a new era of global healing where healers are called to lead. If we want to have a better world, we need to heal what's unhealed inside of us, because hurt people hurt, heal people heal. This is exactly why the New Era of Global Healing Summit exists. We are bringing together 35 speakers from all over the world, scientists, doctors, researchers, healers, and leaders, all in one place to share what actually works and what's coming next. Inside this summit, you will understand where healing and the world is heading and how to prepare for it. Learn practical tools to feel more grounded, safer in your body, and calm no matter what's happening around you. And that feeling that you had, that quiet sense that must be a better way, the pull to step forward instead of staying in the background, that's your soul reminding you who you're meant to be and inviting you to step forward into it. This is the new era of global healing. Come and join us now.
Wow, we are here. So my beautiful Cindy, may I ask you if you can introduce yourself and tell us what means courage for you?
Thanks, Sanet. Thanks for inviting me here today. And hi to everybody out there in the airways. I'm Cindy Edington from Fairport, New York, and I'm a 6-time now #1 international best-selling author, speaker, transformational life coach, and a trauma-informed yoga therapist. I'm also the founder of Trinkle Heart Wellness. And my goal right now is to bridge science and soul to empower women. And I'm very, very grateful to be here today. And so your question was, what does courage mean to me, Sanet? I think it's taking a step forward even when we're afraid to take a step. And I think courage for me has always been unconscious. I never think, oh, I'm being courageous as I take a step forward. I think it's when people perceive that afterwards. But I've never really felt like I'm this courageous person. I'm just doing, I feel, what needs to be done, if that makes sense.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, my beautiful one. So my beautiful Michael, please can you introduce yourself and tell us what courage means for you?
Sure. Hey, everyone. Michael LeBlanc, coming from South Louisiana. Yeah, really, most of what I do as a coach, as an author, speaker, it's all about how do you align with that divine intelligence, that divine consciousness that truly is always in the background, and how do I go there first, and then from there heal and manifest my life. And it's just I'm very passionate about spirituality, metaphysics, and all that gets woven into my coaching, my writings, my books. I am an author of 3 books of my own, and I've been featured in 6 others. One of those is a book with Joe Vitale on metaphysics and abundance. And really, my primary thing I do these days is around guided energy meditations that I customize for people, kind of around whatever it is they're trying to improve or heal in their own lives. I have a side gig. It used to be a career as a consultant and trainer and international level of carpet training for like Chevron, ExxonMobil, a lot of those folks. Still do a little bit of that on the side. And then 2 of my books incorporate my garden photography, and I have an online store where I feature gifts using my photography. So there's kind of a collection of Michael. Courage. I really agree with what Cindy said. It's you're kind of living your life and you're doing might be a tough decision, but for me, nowhere did it ever feel like, oh, well, I'm going to be courageous right now. and it could be the other thing I like, Sanet, that you said is about decision, because to me, it is about a decision. Sometimes it's a fun decision, like when I first decided to write a book. That was a fun decision. I didn't know what the hell I was getting into. There was a bit of courage in taking it on to do it. My background is in social work, and I had a really lovely career working with teenagers, and I loved those kids. And when I got burnout and I knew I needed to leave, it was the hardest decision to make. Like, it broke my heart to have to do it, but I knew I needed to do it. And so in that moment, I just knew I had to. I was just following what I knew I needed to do, even though it was painful and there was a lot of grief involved. But in either of those examples, it didn't feel courageous. It just felt like a decision, and it was a necessary next thing. So I kind of like what both of you said about that. To me, that's very true.
Thank you, my beautiful Michael. My first question will be to beautiful Cindy. I've got, what was the defining moment when you choose courage over comfort? My beautiful Cindy.
Okay, there's probably a lot of different examples. So I think one of the things that you know about me, Sanet, was that it was very difficult for me to open up and tell my story of heartbreak. And so I think that's probably a really good example of that. I was very fearful to tell my story of my heart opening. It was heartbreaking, that heart opening event that happened in my life. And it was really going through a really heartbreaking divorce. And there was a lot of fear around it because I was really protective of my daughter. She had no idea when my ex and I split up. She was very, very young, an infant. And it was one of those things that I just never really talked about. Didn't really want to get her involved and put any impressions, because out of respect for him, he still was her father. And so it was very difficult for me to speak about it in a way that didn't bubble up maybe some of the old wounds. And so I really needed to get to a place where I felt safe. And I think that's part of the courageous action taking forward, is feeling at least safe within yourself and being in a community that supported you. And so to me, I think that took a lot of courage. It did take a lot of courage for me to kind of step into my own light, to have that power to say what I needed to say, and also say it in a way that wasn't disparaging, because I wasn't there. I mean, the forgiveness had already happened, yet I was still afraid to tell the story. So I think for me, that was probably one of the big courageous moves that I made, was to step forward and not only like just talk about it amongst us in a supportive community, but as you know, Sanet, I put it in a book. So my story went into the Soul of a Diamond book that's out on the shelves now. It's the book that Sanet put together with myself and 20 other women together to tell our stories. And that was the first time that I actually put it out into the public, so that, you know, if my daughter wanted to buy that book or see that book, or I gifted her that book, she could see a story from my perspective. And that was, but again, very courageous move, because I hid that for so long, you know, for 30 years I hid that. So it took a very big step to shine that light a little bit and shine a little bit more of who I am in my story. And once I did that, there was a certain sense of freedom in that too. So again, stepping through the fear and getting to the other side. Yes, can I look back now and say, yeah, that was a pretty courageous move. But as I said earlier, I didn't think that I was being courageous in the moment. It was just feeling safe enough. And it's really interesting when I talk about that, because as a yoga person, you know, I'll speak a little bit more if you don't mind. Take another couple minutes here, Sanet, is that, you know, one of the things that, you know, I've learned through all of my training is, you know, the chakra system, and then the 7 main chakras that run through our body. And I think that they stack upon one another. So the first chakra is the root chakra, is where we feel that safety and security. And the second chakra is all about creativity and passions. And that second chakra is really the fuel that takes us up into the third chakra, which is our sense of power. And that, to me, is where courage actually comes from. And so again, when we stack these things, as I look at, I just said, you know, I needed to feel safe. Well, I think that's a big piece of it, that when we're really grounded within ourselves and we have that safety and security, then we can, you know, take that and take the energy, if you will, that fuel, that second chakra, so that we can lead in then and feel into our personal power. And I think that's where courage really comes into play. So.
Wow, that was quite profound what you're saying, because I know the chakras, I know, but you put it actually so beautiful that you have to take your courage to, and then be creative enough to do that. I love that. So thank you so much. Is there one or two things that you can give to the viewers out there that really wants to show up, but they are a little bit fearful? Is there one or two things that you can mention out of your story that you just gave us that can help them, please, my beautiful
Yes, I
Cindy?
mean, I think that, you know, community, right? Having that safe community, I think, is really so important. Have somebody in your corner that's going to encourage you, because you know, there's a lot of people around us that their own fears percolate up. And I've experienced this, and I don't know if you and Michael have experienced this as well, that maybe you want to take a step, and the people around you are basically projecting their fears on you, like, don't do that, oh my gosh, you know, X, Y, and Z could happen if you did that. And so they build this story of the gloom and doom. And trust me, I've been there too, where I've had family members in particular that were really afraid of me stepping into my light. And so you really want to find those people that are going to be there to support you and lift you up, to say, hey, you're cheerleaders. It's like, take the step. It's going to be okay. And you know what? Even if you fall down, and I think this is the big thing, so many of us are afraid to take a step because we're afraid of failure. And, you know, go back into some of the stories of even some of these. Look at sports people. Michael Jordan, how many times did he fail, you know, before he got to where he went? And he'll tell stories about that. So if you look at all these successful people out there, maybe people that you admire, look deeper into their stories, and they're going to tell you that it was how many times that they failed. And that if we look at those, I say mistakes in hanging quotes here. Those are your lessons. That's where you learn. That's where you grow. So don't be afraid to take a step. But I'm going to say also, have your cheerleader in your corner, so that if something does go awry, or, you know, it doesn't go the way you wanted it to, you've got somebody there that's saying, hey, you know what? You tried. You took the step. And you know what? What did you learn from that? And then you build on that. And so now it's like, yeah, you know what? I did it. And now it gives you the courage to take one more step, to try again, to dust yourself off. So I think those would be the little tips that I would say to you. But I think it's really important, again, to have someone in your corner that is your cheerleader. You can become your own cheerleader as you take these steps. But it's always nice when you're first starting out to have somebody in your corner to say, I'm here with you.
I loved it. Thank you so much, my beautiful Cindy. And I remember quite clearly when I phoned you and asked you if you would like to be part of this book. You know, and then you said yes, and I was so happy. It was so amazing. Thank you, thank you. I actually wanted to quickly pull out the book and show, but then I forgot. I wanted to make sure that I have copies of all the books that I am in. So I'm also in 9 books and my own book, one compilation that I worked with, and then the rest was all compilation books as well. So I want to take a photograph of all the books, but I didn't. It's still there in front. So thank you, my beautiful Cindy. So Michael, you were talking about it when you experienced burnout, that you had to make a decision. And it was quite hard because, you know, you were fond of the children or the adolescents, and you really had to make a very difficult decision. So I am going to ask you this question regarding what you mentioned. And you said it was one of your hardest decisions. So what is one of your hardest decisions you make to completely change your trajectory? And then if you can just mention if there's anything that you would also like to add to the viewers, if they came into a situation when it is their hardest, what can they look and what else can they do to go through this process? Because like you said, it was very hard for you.
Answer your question. I really respect how you were trying to be honest with you and what's going on, but respecting your daughter and her dad's relationship and not wanting to have any of your own hurt or anger or any of that stuff, like screw up her relationship, basically. Like you were very mindful of it and respectful of it. And to me, that's you're doing something difficult, but with grace. So I wanted to compliment you on that. I just thought that was great. So now when you mentioned that, one of the, like when you said, kind of change trajectory, when I came out as a gay man to my dad specifically, so I had a plan. He was going to be last on the list on my family because emotionally, Dad and I were just close. So losing that was the most fearful, devastating, hard. And Dad he was captain of his football team. He was a boxer. He worked in a salt mine. So, having a gay son was not like in his head. So when I came out to him, was probably the hardest, scariest, emotionally. It wasn't devastating, but it could have been. Like I was just prepared for this. And so that was in hindsight, that was a courageous moment. For me, it was a necessary moment. Like this is who I was. And I was very cautious about what I was going to say because it's like, I'm not using the gay word because that just means too many things to do to too many people. And I was just like, I'm just dating men. And this whole conversation began with him and I, and he got upset and he got good. And he's like, why are you telling me this? And, I'm like, what, you don't want to know me. And he's like, no, that's not true. But anyway, it was a roller coaster ride. When I was leaving the conversation, I stood up. I grew up on a farm. It was just he and I at his house. There was like a cow behind me. And I got up to go. And my thing with him is like, I don't care if you like this or not. I just don't want you to be different with me, right? And I got up to go, and he grabbed my wrist. And at that point, I was like, oh, shit, he's just going to like deck me. And sorry for that word. I'll never say that again. but I thought, like, here it comes. And all he did, he pulled me in my lap, in his lap, and he just held me. And he didn't say anything, but it was his way of just, we are good. And it was like in his own way, he's like, I love you. We're good. Don't worry about me. Like, don't worry about us. And that was a great outcome for me. But that moment was definitely a courageous moment. Your other part was, well, what helps in those moments? And for me, I gotta go into quiet. I gotta go into prayer. I gotta go into meditation. I gotta drown out all the noise and like all the scary scenarios and how could this, like all that had to get drowned out, and I had to just get in this. It is a peaceful, silent, strength place for me. And even when I was sitting with my dad, because I had plans to tell my sister, my brother, my mom, and then my dad. It's like, start easy, get to the last one. Well, he and I are just sitting there, and I could feel it. I could hear it. It's like, now's the time. Start with him. Do this. But that voice came from getting silent and really reaching that place, stay there long enough, like, because there's strength there. So I share that as like what helps. What helps? It helped when I needed to quit the job because I knew I needed to quit the job. It helped when I decided to write a book, which was a different type of, that was not as, I didn't know what I was getting into, so it was less scary. Yeah. So anyway, those all come to mind when you're with your questions.
Thank you, my beautiful Michael. And did you see, my beautiful viewers, both me and Cindy had our glasses on. Did you put your glasses on? Did Michael?
I don't have my glasses today. I don't have my glasses with me.
How did I do that? Yes.
There we go.
We actually had one of the ladies that was in a hotel, and she didn't have her glasses, but she took 2 teaspoons and she just... Yeah, it was so funny. So, Michael, I wanted to ask you this question. Where do people misunderstand courage? Where do you think that comes from?
So a few different thoughts. My first thought was, I think sometimes we think courage means I have to do something. And I think there's tremendous courage in just shutting up and being silent. And not everything requires me to say or do anything. Like just be with something or be with yourself. Sometimes that's courageous. So that came to mind. And the other, I think, is we see it as to me, it's a hindsight thing. It's like, oh yeah, that was courageous. But like Cindy said, when she opened, it's like in the moment, that word is not going to be happening. You're just going to be doing something in your life that's significant for you. And it's going to require, you mentioned it earlier, it's a decision. It's not about a feeling. I didn't feel good when I left the job at all. But it was necessary, but it took a decision to do that. Same thing with the book. It took a decision. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like that has to lead the way. So I don't know if that answers your question or not, but those are thoughts I had about your question.
Thank you, my beautiful Michael. Okay, I just need to mute quickly. And Cindy, on your side, do you believe there's any misunderstanding of courage? Oops.
And to what Michael just said, in terms of being courageous, just being inside of yourself. And I think maybe that's the biggest misunderstanding, right? Is that we all think that it takes this big, huge act that we need to do. And I really love what you said, Michael, because I think the most courageous thing that we can do is get quiet within ourselves and really honor us individually. We need to honor what our heart and soul and body is telling us. And I think that does require us getting quiet. And as I mentioned earlier, being grounded within ourselves, whether you've got that, again, that person safety on the side, but just really feeling safe and secure within ourselves, just knowing ourselves. And a lot of times that means we got to cut out all the noise and we have to do some self-reflection. So that we're just really honoring where we are in that moment. And whether, I love what you said earlier too, there can be an excitement, right? I've decided to do a book. I'm in the process of doing my own book right now. And that's exciting. And it's taking courageous steps to move forward into the unknown of what I don't know. And then there's the times when it doesn't feel so good that you're taking a step forward. And I think it all comes back to what you said. It's really just trusting and being in alignment with yourself. And I really do believe that that's the most courageous thing you can do, is be true to thyself. Because when we're not, that's when we get in trouble. And so I think that's maybe one of the biggest misunderstandings that maybe people have about being courageous or being, having courage, is that it's not external. It's internal. It's really internal. And it's us making that decision in alignment with us and not listening to anybody else.
I love it, my beautiful Cindy. Today I had a coffee chat with somebody and she was trying to explain, but people understood her, and she experienced quite a lot of difficulties. And I have this paper that I have on my book, on my rack. It says, "As within, so without."
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, just give me 1 second. And I quickly pulled it off and I showed it to her. And I said to her, if you are inside and you respect and is comfortable for who you are, then that will reflect outside. So we did a quick meditation. I did a quick meditation for her. And about 4 hours later, she messaged me and said, Sanet, I had my first encounter, and what I thought is going to happen, it was completely so easy. It was so, and I just said, did you feel easy inside of you? And she said, yes. So sometimes we forget that if we can move inside of us, then that reflects outside to the world. I love that. I almost put the wrong glasses on for the question. So my beautiful Cindy, I am going to ask you the following question. And when in doubt, if there's any viewers out there that when they're in doubt of doing something, what is a few pointers that you will be able to give them as well to put that doubt in the back of the back and then just do it? So thank you, my beautiful Cindy.
Thanks. It's going to kind of follow along with what I just said. Sometimes when we're in doubt, it means you're getting a signal saying pause. So take a time out for yourself, get quiet, and don't necessarily rush it then. If you're really in doubt, do I do this? Do I not do this? Maybe that means you just need to take a little bit more time. Some of the things that I've done in the past too, I like, Michael, what you were saying, leaving a job or whatever, I would do like the pros and cons list, and so that, again, it's a tool, but it would just be a way for me to like get a little bit more insight, because sometimes, again, when you start swirling in all of the, well, what if, we need to get outside of that. So to me, just journaling down, or, what were the positives, what were the negatives, would help give me some clarity, in terms of like, how do I want to approach it? So I think that's one thing that you can do is, well, two things, right? Get quiet first, do a little bit of journaling on it. Again, a simple, easy tool is the pro and the con, the positive and negatives that may come out of that. And then you got to get quiet again and say, what am I willing to live with? What really aligns with me? What are my priorities, in this? And so when you weigh that out, and then you can say, okay, it still might be a little bit scary. But if you get quiet and you start being really true to yourself, That's going to propel you forward. Yep, I'm afraid, and I'm still going to take a step forward. And I will say this too, it doesn't need to be a giant leap. Take a baby step. Break it down. If it's like this big, huge thing, start to break it down into little bitty chunks. You know, there's this old adage, cliche. It's like, how do you eat the elephant? One little bite at a time. So take a little baby step towards it, because that's where, again, it feels safer, right? If I take a small step and go back to the stacking here of the energies, when I take that baby step, what does that do? It builds confidence. Second step, right? And so the more I take these little steps, then, you know, I'm feeling into my own personal power. So I think that gives you a couple of tools, again, that you can use if you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm really doubting, what choice to make. Take a step back first. And then again, write a few little notes here, get quiet again, and then come into alignment what feels best for you. And even if it's scary, take a small little baby step.
I love it. I love it. One of the things I told my grandchildren is, well, my Zayden and Zander, they're the oldest one. They need to have their favorite song in their head. And then if they are scared or they don't want to do it, they must just hum the song or sing it in their head, and then they will have enough courage. I also help them to get some strong points. So my PowerPoint is, yeah, I will touch it if I need some power. So I show them that as well. But yes, even for children, to have that courage. And normally it's not a problem. They will be going into doing something. But even for children, they also need some encouragement. So, Michael, you are also welcome to add anything on that point. But then the next question I would like to ask you, how do you rebuild confidence after a setback?
How do I reap the confidence?
Rebuild confidence after a setback.
Rebuild it. First, you feel crappy. That's just going to happen, and you just got to be with it. Don't pretend not. But I do it with myself. It's like we all have little minor pauses in our day. Like you're getting ready, you finish, like when I finish this, I'm going to have something else, but there is an in between, right? And a practice I really try to do and I use with clients, it's just in that pause, I want you to just close your eyes. I want you to breathe into your heart center. And I want you to just kind of get out of your headspace back here for just a minute. And when you feel that subtle shift, and it's just a subtle shift, it doesn't have to be a big shift, but just a subtle shift, then I want you to gently ask this question, what's next? Just what's next? And it could be the answer is go to lunch. Then great, go to lunch, right? But that little pause, because a lot of us live our life like a run-on sentence. It's just, and at the end of the day, we're done, we're drained. It's like if you just don't build in pauses, you just naturally have them, but use them deliberately. It only takes like 30 seconds to just breathe here and shift slightly, and then just ask what's next. And it's a practice of listening to it, because there's an intelligence here, and it knows all things at all time. I don't. So that helps me. It's like just feel the crappiness of the discouragement or the setback, and then I just kind of recenter, and I just have to get into this practice of just what's next, and I do it as a setback, but I also try to do it just as a regular practice, because it practices that intuitive muscle. Like you start learning to listen within. And maybe it is on your to-do list, and maybe something else is going to come up, and then you're going to have to practice. Do I trust that one? Do I do my to-do list and that kind of thing? But so that's what comes to mind.
Wow, thank you, my beautiful Michael. I remember clearly the first time you came onto the Power Hour. It was our first Thursday show, and I asked you to come and do a meditation. And beautiful Cindy, and Michael, that's more than 2 years ago. Can you believe it? It's more than 2 years ago. It was in August. Maybe it's not totally 2 years, because I think August will be 2 years. 2 years. And Michael, your meditation was so amazing that I had to make sure to make my feet go forward and back, because your voice, everything have put me in a trance, and I was so scared my spit is coming to fall out on the show. I must just tell you, that was truly amazing. A lot of ladies, especially in a Dabo Beauty group, have told them that if they have looked at that particular meditation, they said it was extremely powerful. So I wanted to go to both of you, what you are doing to inspire the world. So Michael, you have gifted me an amazing gift. So Cindy, I came from New Zealand. Beautiful Michael said, Sanet, I want to give you something, a gift for having me in the magazine. What can I do for you? And I just started to cry. I said to him, I miss my grandchildren terribly. I think it was my second week back that I spoke to Michael, and Michael did an amazing meditation for me. I listened to the meditation in total 7 times, and then I was okay. I was okay to be able to continue here. So my beautiful Michael, I am going to ask you, how are you serving the world currently, and how can people connect to you as well?
Sure. So on a weekly basis, I mean, I do one-on-one on a weekly basis to serve people in that way. My books are eternal, so they're always there, and they're always there and they were written in meditation, so they kind of flow with that divine wording, if you will. One of the things I'm really enjoying is the meditations, because they do touch on the chakras and the energy centers as a blessing, as well as making peace with current struggles and what do you want to change and shift and stuff. So it's kind of a blend of both. And you kind of put this in my head a while back, but I have it as a to-do for this year for sure, and actually in the next few months, is to start recording my guided meditations and put them on my online store as an option, as another way to help. And I do have a whole other book series in my head on Divine Dirt, on meditation, on gratitude, on money, things like that I want to kind of do. What was your other question?
I wanted to ask, can you please also tell people how can they connect to you? And
Yeah, so the easiest email for me is michael@divinedirt.net. And that's probably the easiest. And I would say, if anybody is interested, I tend to do a free guided energy meditation with people initially. Like, you kind of mention something you're wanting to focus on, and we do it, and I give it to you on Zoom, and there you go. And it's like, if you decide you want to do something more, great, but if you want to just experience it. So anyway, so I put that out there, and you just email me at michael@divinedirt.net, and then we set up a time and go from there. So I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you. And then, my beautiful viewers, you're welcome to go to Michael's website as well, and you will be able to see all his books and also all his products. He's got the most beautiful photographs in products like cups and yoga mats and cushions or pillows. We call it cushions here in South Africa, but pillows. Yeah. Beautiful. So thank you so much, my beautiful Michael. Before I'm moving to Cindy, how many Christmas trees did you have this in December?
16.
Okay.
We did 14 in the front yard, 1 in the house, and 1 on the back porch. So a total of 16 trees.
And it was real trees. Tell us about it.
No, they're
Was
all
really
artificial. The front yard, the 14 trees in the front yard are all artificial trees that people donate. One was from my mom, my sister, neighbors. The big ones get decorated with colored lights and white lights. All the little ones have white lights on them. And it's just to be like a tree farm where you kind of, you drive by and you just kind of see all that. I tell people I want to make sure Santa doesn't pass up my house, so I have.
I
And
love
no, it's fun. It's a lot of work, but it always the neighbors, everybody tends to enjoy it. We actually won most magical for a Christmas competition in our neighborhood this year, so that was fun. So, but yeah,
wow.
16.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. So, my beautiful Cindy, can you please tell people how you serving the world and how can they connect to them, to you? And then also, I just wanted to mention something before I'm giving you the word. So, beautiful Cindy and her Roshana, her partner, came and asked me to be a book coach, and we had the most delightful time discussing the book, doing the not me, but you guys have done the workbook. So I just want to let you know, my beautiful ones, not only in the show notes is both of the contact details of Cindy and Michael, but both of them have also their book is also a link in there. And then also Michael came to the Soul Diamond Authors Show, where a few of us asked him some questions on his book. So that link is also in the description. So you are welcome to go down. And I've got a fancy mouse. Oops, what happened now? I've got a fancy mouse. It looks like a Star Trooper mouse, very colorful, changing colorful. And I will go down in the show notes. And Cindy, I still don't have an old remote, so I do have a ruler. So for those that are watching on Roku TV, just go down. My mom goes every show down, and she gives us a 5-star rating. And she said, Sanet, my fingers are too full of arthritis to try and give you a comment there, but she gives all the shows a 5-star rating. So my beautiful viewers, just go down below and you will have all the details there. So all over to you, my beautiful Cindy.
Well, thanks, Sanet. Oh, Michael, I love the fact that you had 16 Christmas trees this year. I mean, that is just like a party. I just actually took down my Christmas tree. I have one. But you put it up. We put it up so late in the season that it was like, I love the lights at night. So we kept it up for like over a good month. So it just came down a few weeks ago, and I can appreciate those 16 trees. I would have been, oh my gosh, my glory. So I appreciate that. But yes, how am I serving? So many different things. I wear a lot of different hats. So one of the things right now that's come up that you just put in the commercial, I'm a part of the Global Healing Summit with Nina in March. I'll be on actually March 18th, noon Eastern time, and it'll be live for me. And I'm actually going to do an experiential experience. So we're going to actually do a first level of forgiveness, and I'm going to use EFT or tapping, the emotional freedom technique. So for those who want to come in and join the session that I'm going to be providing for you, it's a really great way to actually move through. Maybe, again, we talked about some mistakes. What do we do? In terms of rebuilding, one of the key things is forgiveness and compassion to ourselves. So that I would really warmly invite anybody to come to that Global Healing Summit in March. It's free, so all you need to do is register for that. Some of the other things that I'm doing too, I'm also on a platform called Healing Millions. And I have a series, we just completed a 6 Healing Reset series where, again, I provide a lot of the different tools that I have because I've got different tools in my tool belt. So yes, primarily a coach and a yoga therapist, but I'm also a Reiki master teacher and an EFT practitioner. And so what I like to do is, again, provide different tools to people to get them from where they are to where they want to be. Some of the things that I do right now I'm in the process of writing my own book, and it's going to be all about forgiveness. And I think that's such a key element that, to me, one of the downloads that I received from God, Spirit, Universe, whatever label you want to put on it, was that there's nothing but forgiveness. And I think when we can kind of lean into that and really understand that if we all just leaned into that, not even forgiving others, we need to do that as well. Typically that's easier to do, but to learn how to forgive ourselves. And I think that that's the big thing, is that there's such a, mistakes get a bad rap. I'm just going to put it that way, because to me, they are learning opportunities. When we make a mistake, take a look at it from this perspective. It's just a lesson for us to learn. What's the lesson in that we're supposed to learn? And so when we can kind of step back and take a look at it from that perspective, and then bring forgiveness into it, and give ourselves the compassion and grace that we so rightly deserve, that helps us take the next step in life. And so that's one of the focuses. That's my main focus of going into what I'm doing in terms of healing with people right now, in the book that I'm in the process of writing. So I think that's what I really bring to the world. And I still do one-on-one sessions for coaching. I still do yoga classes 3 times a week, or you can do a private yoga therapy session with me, Reiki sessions, and I do one-on-one EFT sessions. And I also offer a free monthly newsletter where I have a blog on my website. So there's freebies on my website. So if you went to www.tranquilheartwellness.com, go to my blog page. There's beautiful articles there. Once a month that there's an article. That's all free. I have a free ebook that's all about tools that you need if you're in the aftermath of divorce, because a lot of the clients that I've worked with in terms of women empowerment were women that are navigating the aftermath of divorce. Why? Because I've walked in those shoes. So, but even if you have other types of life transitions, divorce is just one. I've had health issues that I've had to walk through. I went through a cancer journey. So no matter what you're going through, I particularly work with women. Why? Because I'm a woman. Not to say that I wouldn't help men, but I've had that experience. There's also, you can also book a free consultation with me. So all of these things are on my website. So go and I would say explore there. There's a lot of different tools that I'm happy to support you with. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now in my journey, is really honing in. I've gotten really quiet for the past 6 months, taking in the downloads that I'm receiving in terms of what my next steps are. And so the book is going to be the next big project for me, but certainly all these other things that I'm still doing to help women in the world. And the best way, again, go to my website, or if you want to connect to me another way, email is Cindy@tranquilheartwellness, all one word.com.
And you're also a Mrs. Spots for the Diamond Beauties group on a Friday?
Yes, let's not forget about that. So Sanet, if you don't know, Sanet has created this beautiful, beautiful community, which I'm a part of, the Diamond Beauties. And within the Diamond Beauties community, every day there is, we call them Mrs. Potts tea parties, and Sanet can give you more information on where that all came from. But yes, I hold it's a container. It's just a safe space for women to come into every Friday morning. It's 9 a.m. Eastern. And, we just chat about different things, what's on our hearts. It's a safe place to come in. I love Oracle cards, so I usually will pull a card for the group, and we'll talk about that. But it's just a safe place to come as you are, whether you're in your PJs or dressed to the nines, and just have a connection. Have a connection with other women that are there to support and love you no matter what.
And it's amazing. We currently have 5 each day for 5 times a week. So amazing. So my beautiful ones, I've got the paparazzi pen, and I was so glad it's still working. I thought with all the grandchildren pressing it, the battery will be gone. But it's still working. So I'm going to ask you, what is your golden nugget? So my beautiful Michael, can you please tell us, what is your golden nugget? Oh, Michael, I'm so sorry. Let me just unmute you. You are welcome. I'm so sorry.
I'm sure I said something profound. Always go into silence, get aligned, and then do whatever it is. Go there first before you do your next thing. That's
Are
my
you
motto.
ready? Are you ready for paparazzi?
Sure.
Here we go. Oh, Michael, you are lucky. You are so lucky. I got the flash. I'm so happy. So, my beautiful Cindy, let me see if I can get your flash as well. Cindy, can you give us your golden nugget, please?
Sure. My motto's always been when one door closes, just remember there's always another door for you to step through into your bigger and brighter self.
I love it. Are you ready for paparazzi?
Sure.
Here we go. Oh, wow. Thank you. No flash. So Michael was the lucky one. So my beautiful viewers, I know that this show was truly amazing. And our amazing guests have given you a thought to think about. And then on from my side, I just want to say thank you for the time that you spent to watch the show. We really appreciate it. And thank you for putting on your glasses. We know that you have done it. So we are going to have a dance. Exactly, Michael. I tried to take a photo every time you do this, but you were too fast. You were too fast. So
I'll
if
stay
you
there for a minute.
okay, just give me 1 minute. Here we go. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Here we go. There you go. I've got a photo. So, my beautiful viewers, are you ready to have a dance with us? And we are ready. Just give me 1 second. Come, go past. Here we go.